So we're on mile 21, a bit more than that. Legs are shattered, not a lot left in them to be honest, especially the hamstrings. Not quite sure what's happened, but I'll keep slogging away. Still in third place, but it's not looking great for catching people up, to be honest. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to have a chat with you about what went wrong during the Hardmoors Wainstones Marathon and the 5 lessons I've learned from bonking. Bonking in a marathon is one of the worst things that can happen. You've put all this work coming up to a big event, and then for things that feel like they're outside of your control, it all goes wrong. But the reality is, we all make decisions during races that affect the outcome, and it's learning from these decisions and making sure we improve and grow going forward, and that's exactly what I want to try and do going into the Hardmoors 40 in just a month and a half's time. But before we jump into what I've learned, a quick update on what I've been doing since the race. It's been a week and a half since Wainstones, and I've been doing a lot of recovery running. I'm lucky enough to live in a beautiful area with some great green scenery, so I've been going out through the woods and just enjoying some easy mileage. I've been to the physio, had a bit of a rub down, and I've been eating lots of good food, relaxing and stretching. So hopefully I will be all healed up and ready to go for the Hardmoors 40 very soon. Bear in mind guys, these are my lessons and how I'm going to try and avoid bonking going forward, but it will vary for everyone. We're all different, we're human beings, we have different bodies, so try and learn for yourselves as well, but it might give you an idea or two as to where to start looking if you're having similar issues to me. So lesson number 1 is I am going to be separating my fuel from my hydration going forward. As I mentioned during the race, I was trying Tailwind in a race environment for the first time. I had used it in training to decent effect, but what I didn't take into account is the fact I had no control over my hydration while using Tailwind. The way these products work, whether it's Tailwind, Mountain Fuel, whatever you want to call it, you have your nutrition within your water. So say for instance you need to reach 50 grams of carbs within an hour, which is probably quite a good average for people my sort of size. Then you would have say 2 scoops of the Tailwind in a half-litre flask, and you drink that over an hour. That would give you your hydration and your fuel and your electrolytes all in one package. Sounds fantastic on the face of it. Only problem is, when it's really hot, humid, you've got really big climbs, or you're really pushing hard, you're generally going to go through more water much quicker than you would going through your nutrition. Bear in mind you can only absorb a certain amount of calories each hour, whereas water you may need a lot more from 1 hour to the next. So the very fact that with a product like Tailwind or Mountain Fuel you are governed how much water you're getting by how much fuel you can take on, that is going to be a problem if you're not getting hydration from elsewhere. And if you are doing that, you may end up with a sloshy belly. So that's the big issue I found. About an hour and a half into the race, I was getting quite thirsty. I went on to standard water. I went through half a litre flask in half an hour. That should have lasted me an hour in normal conditions. So the signs were there early on that I was having a problem. I didn't address it. I carried on doing what I was doing, went back onto the Tailwind. Ergo, I got dehydrated and ended up bonking. So in future, I'm going to be separating my hydration from my nutrition. I'm going to be using Precision Hydration. They're little tablets. Just show you here, little tablets. You can get them in different strengths. They give you your potassium, magnesium, electrolytes all in one tablet. It goes into your soft flask, and I will alternate between normal water and one with one of these in. It's what I've done in the past. It worked reasonably okay, so I'm going to go back to that going forward. And lesson number 2 is to be adaptive. Adapt to the race, the conditions, the weather, issues with your stomach. There's so many variables on a day-by-day basis. If you don't adapt, chances are you're going to have a bad time of it. And I think that's been my biggest problem now for quite some time, and something I really do need to work on. Prime example, in the Wainstones race, I should have adapted to the fact that the tailwind wasn't getting me enough hydration, gone off it, switched on to plain water and normal nutrition. I didn't recognise that something needed to change quick enough. I was too attached to the original plan. The same thing happened in my last race in the endurance Ravenscar. There was a headwind, it was really hard going. They also changed the course because of COVID and made it a lot tougher underfoot. I had a certain pace in mind that I would like to achieve the course in, and I was too attached to that I didn't back off when I knew that I needed to, and I ended up bonking there as well. So personally, I need to be far more adaptive going forward, and I think it probably applies to most of us. And number 3 kind of carries on from that. Have a plan B, especially when it comes to nutrition and your hydration. I had a plan B, I just wasn't prepared to use it mentally. I kind of told myself I would do, but I didn't. So I would definitely have a plan B. If you're going to be using, say for instance, gels, make sure you've got something else with you, whether it's Throot or a flapjack or something else that is going to be completely different from the original plan, just in case your stomach has a turn and doesn't want to play ball. And number 4, which I think is a really important point, is just to run your own race. I don't think this is as much what affected the end result of Wainstones, but it could have done had I not had issues with the tailwind. At the start, everyone went off like a shot, and while I didn't follow them and try and stick with the pace, I do think I went maybe slightly too fast and touching into a tempo effort rather than the moderate effort I was meant to be doing, just on some of the climbs possibly. But that could have been an accumulative issue over the 28.5 miles, and you've always got a lot more to gain at the end of a race than you have at the start. Try not to think about what other people are doing. And lesson number 5 is a bit of a corny one. It's just do what you love. I aren't sure whether I like the longer distance races, you know, which is quite funny considering this is called Darren Runs Ultras. May have to change the name of the channel, but yeah, I was about 14 miles into the race, my legs had gone flat, and I just thought, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I'm really struggling, and I've worked my arse off for this, and I'm not enjoying it. Now, on reflection, it was just a low moment in the race, and I can't judge what I want to do going forward based on that. I need to see how a decent race goes, and I absolutely loved performing so well the first time I ran Wainstones, so it does swing in roundabouts. You've got to take the ups with the downs, but there's a good chance that actually I prefer the medium distance stuff, the 16-mile stuff. It's something my coach Jason has pointed out before. You know, don't always get too attached to a race, to a distance. Just because the fashion right now is to run ultra races doesn't mean that that is you and that's what you should do. We also, if we're struggling to improve on time and get faster, try and move further. The very fact that we run and that we race means that we're quite ambitious people, and I think that that inclination means that we want to push harder in some way, and very often that can mean upping the distance, but it doesn't mean that's actually what you enjoy doing. So it's just recognising what you really love doing and trying to do more of that, because at the end of the day, that's what running's all about, doing something that we enjoy, not something that's going to make us miserable. So that's not me saying that I'm going to stop doing the longer stuff, of course not. I am still going to give it a good crack, but it's just something in the back of my mind. I want to do more of the medium distance stuff. I don't just want to do the long stuff and be too heavily focused on something that might not be making me happy. So guys, that's about it for the 5 lessons I learned from Wainstones. A lot of reflection there, and actually a lot of learning done. So while the race itself didn't go very well and I wasn't happy with the results, at least I've managed to take stuff away from it, and hopefully I will learn from it and I will move forward. So the Hardmoors 40 is coming up quite soon. It's a little over a month now to a month and a half. That is going to be such a tough race, 46 miles, and I love the route. It's from Beverley all the way back to Norton, which is actually where I live, so there's a lot of sentimental meaning there. We'll go into all that in another video another time. But yeah, look out for that one. Right guys, I hope this video on how not to bonk in a marathon and the lessons I've learned from doing so has helped. If you've got any questions at all, stick them down in the comments, and of course subscribe if you like this sort of content and to see any race films going forward. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I will catch you with the next one. See you later.